Welcome, everyone. It's great to be with you and learning with you again. The topic of our presentation today is entitled The Work of the Co-Creator, Visualization. Now, visualization, also called mental creation, is one of the central Rosicrucian exercises for the mastery of life. And by mastery of life, we mean living in harmony with all parts of our being, our body, our mind, our environment, and with the totality of all. We'll be reviewing various aspects of the teachings on visualization. It's something that's covered very thoroughly, very early on in the Rosicrucian monographs, the weekly lessons. It's an invaluable practice that we can make a habit in our life and can make our lives much more harmonious, much more enjoyable, much more satisfying, and assist us in being of service to others. As is our common practice, we'll start with the image to lead into a meditation. And you'll be seeing now an image of an early Rosicrucian Digest cover here from December 1930. You see one of the early buildings on the Rosicrucian Park, the various Egyptian motifs, such as the obelisks, and various symbolism. And we see above the Amorc building, the Rose Cross, radiating love and well-being out to the world. The Rosicrucian Digest covers the world, it says at the top there. The idealism, but also the lived reality. And visualization was very important because very early on, the first imperator for this cycle of activity, chief executive officer, in the early part of the 20th century, Dr. H. Spencer Lewis, he spoke of Rosicrucian Park as something that was realized, even when it looked to others as a plot of land without buildings, and they sometimes were puzzled. But this is part of visualization, is to actually be able to visualize something, not only in terms of the visual impression, but also through all the senses and the underlying feeling and spiritual sense of it, and created as something that's existing on the infinite plane that then can manifest on the finite plane or in progressions thereof. And that's why I wanted to show you this picture of an early diagram of, or illustration of Rosicrucian Park, because it was a manifestation that it can be brought out. And we'll draw out these points in various ways. But let's apply visualization now by first doing a meditation where we'll incorporate this special exercise. So take in the inspiring scene of an early view of Rosicrucian Park. We see the roses in the foreground, so beloved by Rosicrucians because they have to do with the unfolding of our natures and the development of the soul personality within us, so it can express itself increasingly. You'll see the interlaced triangles on the finite and the infinite plane on the left and right sides of the pylons of the Amorc building associated with the finite and infinite planes merging into manifestation, and also the pentacle of the traditional Martinist order associated with the Rosicrucians. We see in the background as well the radio towers. Dr. H. Spencer Lewis was highly skilled in electronics, an early forerunner in that area, as well as the development of radio programs, the broadcast Rosicrucian programs and related. The great radiations of light from the Rosy Cross will apply in our meditation, which will be based on the Rosicrucian booklet Liber 777, a main document for a particular Rosicrucian method of meditation, one among several others, but it's a central one. I'll give you later in the chat resources of that when Karen pastes them. So this time I invite you to close your eyes, having seen the inspiring image of a manifestation of a visualization of Rosicrucian Park. Get comfortable in your chair, or if you're situated such as lying down, make sure you can breathe in an unencumbered way, because breathing is a very important part of meditation. It's part of the way that we go into the present. We let go of regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. We dwell in the present where we can see things more clearly and interpret the past more maturely and embrace the future as we create it through visualization. Just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath, either holding the inhalation or holding the exhalation. Do what Rosicrucians described as neutral breaths. I invite you, though, to spend a little more time in your exhalation. When it's a little longer than the inhalation, that helps clear all the toxins of the breath out as they've done their job coming in. And also that prolonged exhalation compared to the inhalation helps stimulate the vagus nerve, a large nerve in our body, running from the brain down to below the gut. An important communicator in a holy temple that is our body. When we have that relaxation response to the vagus nerve, it also enables us to heal and become whole so much more easily. This is a key in healing and having well-being. One of the many profound things that happens through breathing. We also know breathing very deeply associated with the way the universe was created through visualization. As the word went forth, just with our breaths in and out, the world was created through the word or the breath, just as we'll learn more about through mental creation shortly. And as you take the deep inner breaths and outer breaths, I think you'll feel increasingly a sense of calmness building. And with each exhalation becoming more relaxed and calm, feeling the peacefulness. It's very soothing to the holy temple in our mind and body. We get a little roughed up over the day with our challenges. And this is a time to have a mini retreat, to be rejuvenated and rebuilt and re-strengthened and be all the more who we are, meant to be always. And with each inhalation, you may wish to also picture the increasing presence of the divine within our true nature. Also known by the Rosicrucians as the master within, who we become increasingly identified with. So always there to help us. For sure and wise counsel in our lives. Our true guide. It's its job to guide us through life in a perfect way. The outer self needs to work with the inner self. The outer self does not have that job. It's not capable to do such. It has other important functions to do with protection of the holy temple and its well-being. As we continue to move deeper and deeper into the meditative states through the simple act of the breath, we can experience ourselves increasingly not as only as a microcosm, but as united with the macrocosm through the law of correspondence. For as we become more and more sensitive to the holy temple of the body, we become more and more sensitive to the temple of the cosmos, the temple of the divine. And in that spirit, let us begin our ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum, following the booklet, Liber 777, and its instructions. To begin, let's do a prayer and invocation for our purification, which we initiated by their deep neutral breaths and feeling the vital life force tingling in our bodies and circulating, enriching, and renewing us. Let us say together, may the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum communed and attuned in pureness and worthiness. So mote it be. Now use your imagination and your inner psychic faculties to picture yourself rising up from the room where you're situated. Feel the enjoyment of the ascent, rising up over the home where you dwell. And now the neighborhood, and see the streets and people going about their business, radiate love and well-being back to them, and feel your connection to them through the one soul that links us all. And keep rising up over the city or town or geographic area where you dwell. Use, as past Grand Master Robert E. Daniels charges to do, use great inner spiritual force to rise up and to ascend into the cosmic as we begin our celestial sanctum periods. Keep rising up, not only over the city or geographic area, but see the entire state or province where you dwell, and see below the mountains or high hills, the weather systems, the trees and forests, the waterways, the lakes, the rivers, the oceans, deserts, whatever is applicable to your province or state. And keep rising up and take in now the entire country or nation where you dwell. See the way that it's laid out in its various geographic forms and great weather systems, some spiraling. See the beauty of the sun or the night sky upon it. And keep rising up over the continent where you dwell, and now even the hemisphere, northern or southern hemisphere, according to your situation. And now take in the beautiful blue jewel of the earth and see it revolving about its great axis, the north and south poles. Begin to appreciate how things are in motion throughout the cosmos, through spinning and vibrating. Rosicrucians refer to this as the cosmic keyboard. Taking in the great sea of vibrations through higher and higher octaves, just like we see in octaves on a keyboard, but extending greatly to higher and higher rates of vibration that we attune through our various faculties of mind and body, by psychic and mystical nature as well. And now look up from the beautiful blue jewel of the earth and see our greater home, our solar system, see the great fiery ball of the sun, and the huge planet Jupiter, and the remarkable and beautiful planet Saturn with its rings, and some of the smaller planets, for example, Pluto and Venus and Mercury, the red planet Mars. See them also revolving about another center, now the sun, their beautiful elliptical orbits. And see some of the moons, such as the one around our Earth, and some of the other planets going around their respective planets, and sense the beautiful harmony and music of it all. And now look up from our home, the solar system, and see our much greater home. Continue to rise up at tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light, as we transcend space and time using great inner spiritual force that we draw on the strength of the divine within to do with ease. And as we rise up past myriad stellar phenomena, other stars, some larger, some bigger, quasars and pulsars and binary stars, and black holes helping balance our local area in the universe and the universe itself. Pass by nebulae and interstellar gases and sense the great harmony and order, the music of the spheres, and sense not only with the 5 physical senses that you're associated with, but also the psychic senses, and sense the vibrations of all the octaves of the cosmic keyboard. Sense the beautiful music and through the colors and other stimuli. The great vibrations and music the composers and musicians on earth seek to imitate and follow. And now we experience an even greater beauty, the music and the harmony of the spheres. And sense also now the great spiraling action of the Milky Way galaxy, our great home about its center. And pass out right from one of its great arms, past myriad stars, and look back at our Milky Way galaxy and see its large-scale structure, its beautiful harmony and order, one of the great works of creation that is our home. And look up and see other stellar phenomena, nebulae, and galaxies. And keep rising up higher and higher. Let us go straight up, all the way up, the center of the cosmos now. Sense also the local galaxies with our Milky Way galaxy. They're all part of what astronomers and astrophysicists call a cluster. And all those galaxies are revolving about a great axis. Sense all the more the stupendous action and harmony and laws of the cosmos about us, mirroring all those that take place within our holy temple, the body. And keep rising up and see more and more Milky Way galaxies like the Milky Way spiraling in other forms and shape. See the interstellar gases, see the great webs connecting the galaxies. And sense not only individual galaxies, but also their clusters, passing out from our local cluster and see many, many clusters, all within what astronomers and astrophysicists call the supercluster. And see their great motions of the clusters about the central axis of the supercluster. All these actions mirroring in different levels and senses, the entirety of creation, from the microscopic to the macroscopic. And keep rising up in the cosmos and pass out from our local supercluster and see many, many other galaxies and stars and planets and nebulae, and sense not only individual clusters within our local supercluster, but many, many superclusters that are all revolving about a great cosmic axis of the cosmos. For as we rise up by the law of correspondence, we go deeper and deeper within ourselves. Sense the stupendous motion of the universe about its great cosmic axis. All the stars and planets and nebulae, interstellar gases, the clusters of galaxies, the superclusters of galaxies, all revolving about the great cosmic axis. That's spoken of since ancient times by mystics and philosophers. Zoom in on the great midpoint of that cosmic axis, about which the entirety revolves. Speed towards it and enjoy the exhilaration of the ascent. Or as we go higher and higher, we go deeper and deeper within ourselves, all the more able to commune with the cosmic through the cosmos and our inner nature. And as you come closer to the midway point, the midpoint of the cosmic axis, slow up and stop there at that great center point of the cosmos, at the center and midpoint of the cosmic axis. And look about and sense about you this stupendous harmony and motion of the cosmos. Sense at this great center also the center of your being. And let us now apply visualization to picture there what Rosicrucians refer to as the celestial sanctum, our celestial sanctum. You may wish to have it as a stupendous view all about you, all the beauty and good that you see. Or there may be a particular scene in nature from back on earth, maybe a sacred grove of pine trees, or a beautiful setting by a lake shore or a seashore, or maybe in a high hill or mountain where you have an expansive view, suggesting the cosmic view. Fill in your natural sacred site as your celestial sanctum, or if you wish, some built structure like a Sikh Gurdwara or a Buddhist prayer hall or stupa or a Christian cathedral or basilica or church, or a Hindu mandir, or the Rosicrucian Park Grand Temple. Fill in the sights and sounds and other stimuli. You may wish to picture incense rising where you are to suggest the transmutation law and the raising of our consciousness as we raise ourselves to the heights of the celestial sanctum. You may wish to picture beautiful symbols there, for example, stained glass windows depicting Rosicrucian laws and principles that we learn through our weekly lessons and how to master them and apply them for our life. You may wish to picture all those on this teleconference call, fellow seekers, visible and invisible masters present with you, the officers of our order, the grand masters, the imperator conducting a special convocation. Fill it in as you see fit, as you're used to. Make it real, make it vital, give it an emotional charge. This is an important part of mental creation and visualization we're speaking of today. Once you've filled in your visualization, release it, let it go, assured of its increased manifestation, both inwardly and outwardly, and dwell in peace profound, the most profound form of peace spoken of by the Rosicrucians. Just dwell in the deep stillness at the center of your being, at the center of the cosmos. Feel whatever there is to feel. Meditation is profound act of non-avoidance. Be receptive to any important insights or guidance. Just keep returning back to the incoming breath and the outgoing breath, dwelling at the stillness, the heights of the celestial sanctum. Enjoy the exhilaration of this place. Just let go, surrender. The outer nature to the inner nature. If you find your mind wandering, just lovingly and gently bring it back to the gentle rhythm of the breath, this deep, still center, the heights of the celestial sanctum. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, as we continue to dwell at the heights of the celestial sanctum, the center of the cosmos, the center of our being, let us apply the exercise of visualization as part of this meditation exercise for a second time. Let us visualize something that we cannot readily achieve by other means at this time. Maybe there's something important you're trying to bring into fruition in your life. Or maybe there's something you're worrying about now that you could visualize about and proceed with confidence into taking care of it. Or maybe you have an interview or an important meeting with someone or important conversation that you're concerned about. You could visualize it now. Picture it, all its vitality going well. And there's a sharing of the soul personalities. Or maybe there's something new that you wish to manifest in your life, some valuable instrument or home or place to live or mode of transport. I invite you now to picture something you'd like to visualize that's of value not only to yourself, but to others. It'll help you in self-mastery, but also increase your capacity for service, directly or indirectly. If it's something that passes the test of your conscience, as something valuable to bring into manifestation in the world, start to visualize it now. And do not be concerned if you find that you're not so good with visual imagery. Give it life and vitality, not only through visual imagery, but it can also be in sights, but also sounds, tastes, touch, inner feeling. Give it a deep sense of purpose and value and seriousness, something that is joyous, something that is helpful, something that is healing for oneself and others. Picture and sense those things. So when we say visualization, we mean it very broadly. I'll give you some time now to build up your picture. Make it real, make it vital. Now soon we'll release our visualization. Make any last touches, adjustments that you wish to make. Feel the profound realism of it. Make it something alive, vibrating. Now prepare to release it. Let it go from the subconscious mind through the subconscious to the cosmic mind. And we can say together, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. Now let us continue our meditation, assured that the manifestation be undertaken. Let us undertake a further spiritual operation of the Rosicrucian or landmark. Let us conduct, while during our period of meditation, the application of metaphysical aid. Let us radiate love and well-being from the center of our being to the divine within. To all those who have petitioned our Grand Lodge, Council of Solace, for healing and guidance, and all those who may have petitioned our affiliated bodies of the Rosicrucian Order for healing and guidance, and all those that you know of who are in need of healing and guidance, and all those sentient beings throughout the cosmos in need of healing and guidance. Let us radiate love and well-being to them, just like we saw in the Rosicrucian Digest cover, ourselves as a rose cross, radiating love and well-being out to all those in need now. It's not an act of the outer self, but one that the divine within participates in through its infinite resources on the infinite plane. Like a great floodlight radiating out love and well-being, let it radiate out from the center of the cosmos where you dwell, filling the cosmos for all in need. Just as you used great inner spiritual force to rise up to the center of your being, let the love and well-being now from the divine within flow out at a tremendous rate from you. You feel the exhilaration, the tonic effect for yourself and all. At a certain point, I think you'll find the radiations will speed up and you know that they're being received. And you may find that you no longer consciously have to focus on the radiation. It continues without conscious effort. And when that's the case, let us dwell further from the heights of the celestial sanctum at this great center as we radiate love and well-being. As we continue to surrender to the divine within and attune with the cosmic, I think you'll find the holy temple, your body, is charged with a vital life force and the tonic effect. For as we give, so we receive by the law of karma and the law of compensation and the law of cause and effect. Without intending it, we're given back. Let's continue to surrender through the law of humility, to be open from the impressions of the cosmic mind and the divine within. Experience not only a general state of enlightenment, but any impressions that we need now, or assured they may come out later in the day, to be clothed in impressions of the outer mind, but we receive them now. Soon we'll begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Let us first formally close our period of radiation of love and well-being, the work of the Silent Council in conjunction with the Council of Solace and Metaphysical Aid, by saying, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done, so mote it be. Now let us continue to dwell in the meditative state before our great descent. You may wish to invoke the law of gratitude for this opportunity to be of service and our birthright to attune with the cosmic and realize our true nature. And grateful for all those who have guided us and who have loved us, who have sacrificed for us. Now let us begin, fratres and sorors and participants, our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, ever assured that the radiations of love and well-being will continue as a way of life and as part of our mission, and our attunement with the cosmic will continue and be increasingly realized by us in self-mastery. Let us speed past at a great rate the superclusters of the galaxies. See the stupendous harmony and order as they revolve about the cosmic axis, past myriad stars and planets and nebulae, great interstellar gases and webs connecting the galaxies, back to our supercluster. And within it, see all the clusters of galaxies and the myriad stars and galaxies and the great wonder and beauty of it all. And then see in the distance the cluster that we dwell in, and enter it and all the galaxies within it spiraling about, or in other motions and forms. And see in the distance the Milky Way galaxy, our true home on the finite plane, and enter into it, its great arm where we dwell, past the myriad stars, the quasars, the pulsars, black holes, and see in the distance our star, the sun, our solar system and home, and zoom towards it. And see the planet Earth, the beautiful blue jewel, the temple of the earth. And come to the hemisphere where we dwell, and then the continent where we dwell, and then the great country or nation, then the province or state, and see the city or geographic area we dwell. And let us say together, may the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum, so mote it be. And let us continue down into our city or geographic area, to our neighborhood, our home and dwelling, and back to the room where we left off and where we're seated or lying down, and feel ourselves enriched, ennobled, remade, reborn, rejuvenated, And when we're ready, we may wish to open our eyes and stretch and be ready for the next part of our presentation. Thank you, fretters and soarers and participants. Now, in our topic, the work of the co-creator, for you are a co-creator, we'll continue talking about the central Rosicrucian exercise of visualization. We practiced it twice already in our ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Now, in thinking about what is visualization, it's helpful to keep in mind this simplified form of the Rosicrucian schematic diagram of mental processes, because it'll help us in understanding. You see, following description from the Rosicrucian manual, you can think of visualization or mental creation as painting a picture on the screen of consciousness. But that'll be particularly when we have our objective consciousness, where the objective mind dwells. It takes in the sight, the hearing, the smelling, the tasting, the feeling from the external world. Those move into our subjective mind. We realize through a subjective consciousness to picture before us that imagery or that sense impressions. And that's where our visualizing or mental creation first takes place. And that's where focused thought can then be released. So we picture on a screen of our consciousness what we want to create. And the mind's eye gradually builds up the picture. And when it's complete, we dismiss it entirely. We let it go. We release it into the subconscious. And from there, it makes its way into the overarching cosmic mind. So we transfer the image from the subjective mind to the subconscious mind to the overarching cosmic mind. Now, the positive thoughts emitted or transmitted to the cosmic is like often described as mailing a letter. When we put that mailed letter into the mailbox, we go about our regular duties, our daily affairs. We let it be there. We let it undergo its actions. By the law of attraction, conditions and situations or circumstances will be drawn to what we've made a living, vital reality that we pictured, so it can manifest in objective ways. The image on the screen of consciousness must become so realistic that it can be actualized. Rosicrucians talk about reality and actuality. Reality is in our realizations. Each of us has individual realizations or realities. But there's a unified actuality, the system and law and order vibration, which we're about bringing our visualization into as a manifestation. That's why Dr. H. Spencer Lewis could see Rosicrucian Park as a living, vital reality that had already existed. Simply a matter of working to make it manifest. Now let's talk a little bit more about how it's done. Here you'll see a beautiful Tiffany stained glass window from the Heinz House window from 1895. It's now in the Cleveland Museum of Art. But as Tiffany glass is that beautiful imbued with light and vitality, I know many of you are greatly fond of Tiffany glass. Similarly, our visualizations through the various senses, not only sight, need to be made living, vital, something of light and life and love to manifest like a Tiffany stained glass window, which indeed were visualized in their own rights. To do the practice is just as we did in our meditation exercise. You don't necessarily have to do the exercise of visualization during meditation, but it's often a great way to do it because one is then already in an ennobled state and ready to work and worship of the order. One needs to sit comfortably in the exercise of visualization, close the eyes if they're not already, and picture using all the senses as applicable and able. And don't be concerned if one sense you're not so strong in, like visually imaging things. Use other senses and the emotions and the mind to make it real and vital. Give it emotional strength to the picture in terms of its value, not only for oneself, but others. That's important. There needs to be a selflessness in this, directly, indirect, or indirectly. When the picture is filled in, it's released to the subconscious mind and into the cosmic mind and say, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. So mote it be, so be it in truth. Now, one can also adjust that, as some people like to also say, if it pleases the cosmic, this or something better will manifest, so mote it be. It's up to you and see what works best for you. Now you go about your regular activities and let the law of attraction work. Having complete confidence, that's very important, complete confidence that it already exists on the infinite plane. And it's a matter of manifestation on the finite plane, or in graduations thereof with the finite infinite plane. Then we need to switch to being on the lookout, vigilant for ideas and impressions and actions needed for the fulfillment of the mental creation. We can think of this in terms of the law of the triangle, the law of manifestation. There's the visualization, making it real and vital. But then once we've released it, we then have to work on, we've applied law of concentration there to make the visualization. Then we need to apply the law of concentration to be vigilant, to see how we can fulfill it. We now need to concentrate on the fulfillment of that wish, that desire. That's distinct from the actual visualization act. So we will not interfere with it in its action in the subconscious mind and the cosmic mind. We then work to concentrate on its fulfillment. In some strong sense, we have the expression, eat, live, and sleep it. To some extent, that needs to be done to make it real and vital, because the law of attraction will reach out through the cosmic as our mind focuses. You know, what people are saying, on the lookout as we drive or walk. Is there some impression, or is there something I saw, maybe on a billboard, and maybe a particular sound, a particular sight, the way something looks, and may have some association with what we visualize to help bring the pieces together. You can think of visualization, particularly when we visualize on something more complex, like piecing together a jigsaw puzzle. The visualization won't necessarily happen all at once suddenly. If we do something simpler, like we visualize something we've lost and finding it again, yes. But if we're picturing something more complex, like a new career or something, often it'll work that will come into individual pieces like a jigsaw puzzle. Something someone will say or give us a lead. We'll follow up on it. We need to be following up and acting our will, but we'll be piecing the picture together. The individual pieces may not immediately suggest the overall image that we had of our new career, for example. Just know it's related. But as we piece it together, there's that aha experience of saying, now I see the picture, like in a jigsaw puzzle as it comes together. Now, provided we're acting according to our conscience, very important. We develop that in meditation and through our lessons in the Rosicrucian order. Situations such as the following can aptly apply visualization or mental creation. Are you going for an interview? Visualize it. Do you need to find something that you've lost? Visualize finding it. Need to have a conversation with someone else that's challenging for your outer self? Visualize it going well, uplifting for both of you. Are you preparing for a presentation? Visualize it, live it, and then manifest it for the well-being of those who are your audience. Are you helping to organize an event? Visualize it. You may wish, like Fred Edward Lee, past Grand Lodge officer, he often in visualizing an event would visualize at the end, people feeling uplifted, things have gone well, people deeply satisfied. You can picture how you wish to visualize an event. You may be various stages of it you wish to visualize. It's up to you, and see what's effective for you. Are you worrying about something? Visualize and proceed with confidence into the matter. Are you preparing an article, a text, or an important document? Visualize it and then manifest it. You'll be helped and guided as you compose it. Do you need a new home or dwelling? Visualize. Need a better way to commute to work? Visualize. Need to develop a particular virtue or new personal trait? include visualization as part of the process. Working towards self-mastery, visualize all along the way. This is just some of the many ways that visualization can be applied. And it's often quite helpful when we speak to other students who apply visualizations, new and neat in ways that they apply visualization we may not have thought of and can incorporate in our own life. In each case, we release the visualization, go about our regular activities, but be vigilant for impressions and insights related to the picture, and shift into concentrating on the fulfillment of the picture, knowing that it already exists on the infinite plane in an actuality and only needs to manifest on the finite plane in graduations thereof. Now, related to this, I want to show you a beautiful work by the renowned Renaissance sculptor Michelangelo. We're fortunate in a way to have some of his incomplete works because we can see his working process. Quite remarkably, he described this master of sculpture that he said that he did not have to chip away at the rock as if there was nothing there. He sensed that what his process was, he was just removing the sculpture from the rock. In other words, he had visualized it so well. This is sometimes his comment about that has often surprised art historians. I thought, well, maybe he's speaking symbolically. Well, in a way he is. But I remember past Grand Chaplain, Edward or Ed Lee, who's also earlier the head of the Department of Instruction at Rosicrucian Park and a Grand Lodge officer, mentioned that Leonardo was actually applying visualization. He had visualized already his sculpture, and he was bringing it into manifestation because the form of the sculpture was already in the block of marble. He was had the skill and the different instruments to bring it out to life. We see that, for example, in his wonderful work of the biblical figure David preparing to do battle with Goliath, which in part is an allegorical tale of the inner self confronting the outer self. The inner self and outer self need to work in harmony together. The inner self is the true guide. But you see from the left to the right, they're both were in great blocks of marble. But Michelangelo, through his visualization, was able to bring out the pre-existing sculpture within the marble through visualization. And through visualization, he was speaking literally in a correct way, not only symbolically. Now let us consider a few more things about visualization before we conclude. We wonder, how thoroughly can visualization be incorporated into our lives? Yes, visualization can be quite thoroughly integrated into our daily lives as a way of living. It can become a habit. Depending on the nature and degree of the complexity of what is visualized and how much review is needed with respect to being ethical and in good conscience. The visualization exercise can take from about 5 seconds on a simpler item to about 5 to 10 minutes or longer on a more complex item. While the visualization exercise is done for one thing at a time, it can be okay to have several visualizations concurrently underway in our life. We can learn by practice what can be readily and effective handled by ourselves. Now, it may be asked, what has visualization or mental creation to do with meditation and mysticism? Well, as we noted at the beginning of our presentation, visualization can be done as part of the meditation exercise. We ascended to the heights of the celestial sanctum, and in that highly attuned state with the cosmic, in some ways it can make our visualization even more effective as we release it into the cosmic. Visualization can also be done apart from meditation exercises we mentioned earlier. But it can still partake of the meditative state as we attune with the cosmic, because I think you'll find it as you visualize and make it real and vital. You'll find as you release it particularly, but also when you are building it up, that you feel an increased attunement with the cosmic. In a way, visualization has a strong element of meditation built into it already. Now, visualizing, well, it's done as part of some meditation exercises. We can also think that from a mystical perspective, that we are co-creators with the cosmic. We're co-workers with the cosmic mind, or co-partners with the universal intelligence. Because in visualization, we match the way that the universe is created and maintained by the divine. We do that as a microcosm of the macrocosm, a profound mystical principle. Just as the word went forth to form creation, so we allow our mental creation to go forth. In this manner, we increasingly realize and identify ourselves with the divine in mystical union. Now, at this time, before I have a concluding statement, I'll ask Karen to paste in the chat some resources for you that you may wish to copy. Now, in conclusion, we have continued to explore how Rosicrucian exercises, laws, and principles increase our well-being and capacity for service. The practice of mental creation or visualization is one of the central Rosicrucian exercises along with meditation. It is a practice that we can become very skilled at in our daily life, and a habit that is invaluable for the mastery of life. Thank you.